still have a challenge, and now we move to the 9th constitutional government. From the journey that we are facing, we think that reform, it has its own challenges, complexity, and also it faces progress as well. So in the 9th government, we move on. We start from that experience that I just presented. We start with a very simple question: where we want to go. So we have 2 or 3 days to discuss in our new mandate. We sit together with the civil servant, the director, and we talk what we should move forward. So in order to answer where the civil service should go, where the human resource should be reformed. And then we do the diagnostic. Here we together with Parseiru, we do diagnostic in order to find out what is the real problem. What is needed to be changed? What is need to be respond? If we back to the previous slide, how we can change in order to have alignment with the international organization. So we have a diagnostic, and then we find out several challenges. So from that diagnostic, from that discussion, from that orientation of the Prime Minister, and we found out that now no more 25,000 or 12,000, but it reached 70,000 of human employee. So it's almost 27% of employment in the public sector. And in this slide, it shows that even the salary from 200 million moved to 500 million as well. So it's especially from 2020 to 2025, it increased very rapid. Another challenge also, when we talk about, today we talk about capacity building, we talk about the preparation of human resource, but and then when we look back to our career system, we found out that we have an evolution during several years. We found out that we have a lot of career in the line ministries. For example, in the Ministry of Health, there are 5 career regime. We have a general, we have for the doctor, for the midwife, and for the technical laboratory, even in another ministry as well. So we think that if everyone growing or establish their own system, and then it will be very hard to coordinate as well. And also it will be challenge to have a qualified program in the capacity building itself. In order to make sure to have a qualification, we need to have exact career regime, we need to have exact plan on the capacity building itself. So those slides just reflect the challenges that we have been facing. So in this slide, to show you how we move forward, what should be changed. So we defined 18 components of reform. Some people think that it is very ambitious, but when we talk about reform, it should be holistic. We cannot just think about capacity building while we left the career itself. So in order to success in this human resource reform, we think that those 18 components is the way to respond to the qualification of the human resource itself. So number 1, we need to define the workforce plan, compulsory retirement. We have promotion because we need a clear path of promotion. We need a very good planning and recruitment. We need a competency development policy for career and promotion standard. We need a salary and productive incentive as well. We need a management of performance. Also, we need to take care about the principle of value and cultural services, formulation of competence standard, ethics and discipline, digitalization, we need it, management of organization, we need to discuss about gender and social inclusion. We need to have a very good roadmap to ASEAN, and we need to have some internal reform, but also we need to have a future investment of human resource itself. So this is the 18 part of reform that we think moving forward. So the next slide, how we are going to coordinate. We understand that the reform cannot be only done by Civil Service Commission. So in this part, we have a decision from His Excellency the Prime Minister to decide that it should have a collaboration. So in order to bring this reform go through, we have two very essential components: Civil Service Commission and Ministry of Finance, where we decided the person and we decided the target. So with this dispatch, now we are moving forward on how we are going to reform in each component that I just present to you. So the next slide, it shows the achievement from the 18 components that I just presented. Let us share to you some achievement that we did in 2024 and 2025 that has been concluded. I think number one, our human resource public administration reform has been presented in Council of Ministers, and it has been signed by His Excellency the Prime Minister and Minister of Azul Pereira, PCM. The number two, from the component that I just presented, it also approval of senior promotion in Council of Ministers. As I mentioned, most of civil servants that has been recruited in transitional government, some of them even not promoted. So in the non-government, we call the program of senior promotion, and we did some promotion for them. Number three, the authorization of a compulsory retirement. I think in our previous Civil Service Act, there is no compulsory retirement. So the civil servant only voluntarily want to retire, they can retire. But in the non-government, we decided it should be compulsory. So with the authorization of the Parliament for the government, we decided that 65 age should be retired. And in December 2025, we have dispatched 1,985 civil servants of the to retire. Number four, I think in Council of Ministers approved the character building training. I think when we talk about disciplines, we talk about capacity, respond effectively. I think character building is one of the key response to the quality of the leadership itself. So it has been approved by Council of Ministers, and together we work with Minister of Defense. We have Chief of General Commander of RTTL here. We work together, and finally we did a pilot of the training of the character training in 2025. We also have one that very essential. We call it rationalization of the salary of technical expertise, national and international advisor. We need to readjust between the salary, and also we need to readjust between the salary and the competence that everyone have it. So we did it, and it just completely finalized in 2026. But in 2024 also, there were our approach to DFAT and Parseiru. Ambassador is here, so we have a discussion on how can support also some program of the reform itself. And in 2024, we have an agreement, we have a formal engagement, and from now on, we work together with Parseiru and DFAT in order to proceed some of the reform that we present to you later. So this is how we call it technical collaboration. Together with DFAT and Parseiru, for 2025 and 2026, we have 6 points to reform. So this six point of reform, we take from the 18 components that I just presented. So this year, we're more focusing on how to redefine or define the sector workforce size. If we look at the presentation before, we have 17. Now we have to think whether we reduce or whatever we have to do, but this is one of the decisions that should be made in that reform. Second reform, we are more focused on the career system. I'd like to share that when we talk about quality, we should make sure that everyone integrated in the career, to make sure that from the beginning of the recruitment until the retirement, it should be a clear path. Number 3 and 4, we have a remuneration system, and also we talk about the salary and remuneration, including subsidized and remuneration. Reform number 4, interface between that we call about digitalization, interface between the system of human resource, or we call it SIGAP, and the payroll. And the last one that we have to decided in this year is new policy of capacity building. Today, the presentation, it says that human resources is very critical, and so this reform, in order to respond to the process of the capacity building itself. Another program that we are doing 25 to 26 is English language training for ASEAN session. Just Vice Minister just mentioned. This we work together with MENEC and under the support of DFAT. And also we have a program of strengthening gender equality, disability, and social inclusion in public sector. So this 6 points that be the priorities for the Civil Service Commission and also Minister of Finance in 2025 to 2026. So what is the next phase? So the next phase after the presentation, which will soon present in Council of Ministers, the 6th point of reform, the next step is we have to revise the statute of public service. As I presented before, the statute of public service approved in 2004. I think it's almost more than 20 years now, and I think it needs to readjust in order to respond to the reform that we just talked about. And also, we make an assessment between the two systems, between payroll system and the SIGAP. So it is important to lay down a proper plan for interface, including system and requirement and resource identification. We also support the technical Civil Service Commission teams to implement a reform agenda and continue to proceed to ELTA training, English language training, until June 2029. And also we strengthen gender equity, disability, and social inclusion. Something that we have talked with World Bank, Mr. Davis, this year. This year, we also, from 2025, we also engaged the World Bank in order to have a collaboration in some reform that we are doing. We have discussed together about how we are joined to have a progress review on implementation of civil service reform. As I presented before, we have the reform since the first constitutional government. I think now we need to have some revision in order to see what is progress and what is the challenges and how we respond to that. So we also study on alternative ways of resource mobilization, and also we do the study of ASEAN human resource management, legal frameworks, and digital transition to align with regional standard. This presentation, we just show you what is the future reform that we are thinking of. Right now, we have presented and we have some discussion, but it hasn't been approved yet. Let me just share to you what is the reform will look like. First, we need to define the public sector workforce size. This country, we have 1.3 million of people. What is really needed? What is the exact number for the civil servant? So there will be another study, another discussion, and another approval. The second slide, the next slide will think about the reform of the career system itself. While the first presentation we have several career, almost more than 16. Now we think of how we adjust all into one. Well, it is we have a complexity, but with the orientation of His Excellency the Prime Minister, we think that we will readjust into what we plan. The next slide is so that we also have to have a process of the recruitment. While before we have every line ministry can recruit their own, but I think we have to rediscuss, fix the process of reform. So we have a preparation, and we have an announcement, we have a document selection, we have a computer-based test. We announced the final result, and the second we have to move the character building training. Is a starting point for all the civil servants. We have induction, we have a technical and professional training, and also here mostly we have to have a basic training in planning, management, and finance. So before he signs as a new civil servant, at least he has to have a basic understanding about the planning, about the management, and about the finance itself. And then we can have acceptance of the permanent as a civil servant. But in this case, it's not only permanent, it doesn't mean that he will be permanent for all, but there will be some process in order to make sure that if he's a permanent civil servant, he has to be qualified, he has to show the result. Another presentation is we call about a structure and functional career. What we discussed today is very important, that in order to have some qualified staff, we have to make sure that where they are integrated, where in structural side or functional level. So we'll make sure that everyone, after they sign, they will go to their career base, and if they promoted to structural level, they also have to have the career itself. If they promoted to functional level, they have to have the career itself. This to show you the career path that any civil servant, after they recruit, they have some basic training, character building training, induction, and basic technical specialization training. And then they enter into career, and then they should have a leadership training, just mentioned. They also should have a functional training, and also they should have advanced technical and specialization training. So with those standard, and then they can go into the career path. Well, this slide just to show you what it has been approved by Council of Ministers about the new training that we just introduced in the 9th government. We call it Formação de Caráter dos Funcionários Públicos. When you talk about quality, when you talk about effectiveness of the response, the quality of the character, it should be mentioned there. So we're more focused on how to build someone's in the value in the principle and virtues. We also talk about how we build someone to be work in hierarchy, but also in the discipline. He has to have show his patriotism and nationalism. We also talk about civil servants, how they understand about the role, what they are doing, and what they should be responsible. And also we talk about the ability in the management, in the working, team working, and also how they can respond to any challenges, any conflict that they face in their institution. So this just show you the photo of one pilot that we did last year. This is how we call character building. So the training that we introduce no longer in the class training, but mostly outside. We try to guarantee that the civil servant, after they pass the training, they should have at least they have a discipline, they have a quality in their life as a civil servant. So it's not only in the class training, but in outside, they woke up in the early morning 4:30 and they sleep by 10 o'clock with only limit lunch and limit coffee break. So they have to be quality in their discipline as well. This we call resilience. When we talk about the resilience, it's not only a training in class, but the civil servants should go out to make sure how they face with the challenges in their life, in their institution. So we call it one week Semana de Campo. This is how they understand about how they face the challenges in the real life. Even in the before one night before, they have a limitation of the dinner. They find their own way to find the food. But I think that's how they learn to be resilient, how they respond to any challenge in their life. It is a piloting. Of course, we'll present to His Excellency the Prime Minister to respond. But these all reform that we start to do, and we start with the character building. The next slide, the last slide, the long-term, how the Civil Service Commission will forward. For the long-term reform direction, we continue to strengthen collaboration with the government and the development partners. We drive in effective and sustainable human resource reform, establishing a modern, transparent, efficient, and accountable human resource system. But for immediate reform priorities, we want to complete the key ongoing reform initiative, the 18 components that we just presented. We will finalize the legal frameworks to support the implementation, and we develop the policy foundation for remaining reform components, and we lead the next stage of public administration reform implementation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the presentation. Once again, we will skip the Q&A session since we are running late and spare all the questions to this afternoon session during the institutional development sector presentation. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with the conclusion of the presentation, we have now reached the end of all the presentations for this morning. I'd like to now invite, with all respect, His Excellency Mr. Bendito dos Santos Freitas, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, for his closing remarks.
The minister that never is in Timor-Leste because he claims to respond to foreign affairs.
Thank you, Prime Minister. Excellency Prime Minister Asaun Guzman, Excellency Vice Prime Minister, distinguished members of the government, distinguished ambassadors and members of the diplomatic corps, distinguished development partners, representatives of international organizations and United Nations agencies, Governor of the Central Bank, private sectors, academia and civil society, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. As we conclude this morning's plenary session of the Timor-Leste Development Partners Meeting 2026, allow me to express our sincere appreciation for your continued partnership, constructive engagement, and enduring commitment to Timor-Leste's development journey. Excellencies, this morning we were honored to hear the strategic vision of His Excellency Prime Minister Asaun Guzman regarding the future direction of our nation. As His Excellency reminded us, to look at the sea is to look at the future. To care for the sea is to ensure a sustainable future. This vision reflects far more than a maritime policy priority. It represents a long-term national transformation agenda aimed at repositioning Timor-Leste from a historically petroleum-dependent economy toward a more diversified, sustainable, resilient, and knowledge-based economy. For Timor-Leste, the sea is inseparable from our identity, sovereignty, resilience, and future prosperity. As a small island and coastal nation situated at the heart of the Coral Triangle, one of the world's richest marine biodiversity regions, we recognize both the immense opportunities and profound responsibilities associated with our maritime domain. The blue economy therefore represents not only an economic diversification strategy, but also a comprehensive framework for sustainable development. It encompasses climate resilience, food and energy security, maritime connectivity, scientific research and innovation, environmental stewardship, and the empowerment of coastal communities. Through the policy and action plan for promoting a resilient and sustainable blue economy, 2025-2035, the government is advancing a holistic and cross-sectoral approach that seeks to strengthen sustainable ocean industries, maritime governance and security, maritime scientific research, ocean literacy, environmental protection, and inclusive community development. Excellencies, the presentations delivered this morning by His Excellency Prime Minister and Her Excellency the Minister of Finance also reminded us that Timor-Leste's journey from the struggle for the restoration of independence to the continuing process of state building and nation building has never been undertaken alone. Since the first Donors Conference in Tokyo in 1999, development partners have played a vital role in supporting peace building, humanitarian response, institutional reconstruction, democratic consolidation, human development, and economic recovery in Timor-Leste. The progress and resilience demonstrated by Timor-Leste over the past 24 years are therefore not only the result of the determination and sacrifice of the Timorese people, but also of the solidarity, friendship, trust, and long-standing partnership with the international community. As we enter a new phase of national development marked by ASEAN integration, economic transformation, and implementation of the Blue Economy agenda, these partnerships became even more strategic and indispensable. Their value extends beyond financial support to include knowledge transfer, innovation, institutional strengthening, capacity building, and coordinated action capable of translating national aspirations into concrete, sustainable outcomes for our people. Excellencies, today's discussions on the Strategic Development Plan 2011-2030 Progress Monitoring Report highlighted the significant progress Timor-Leste has achieved over the past 15 years in strengthening the foundations of the state, expanding infrastructure and connectivity, improving social services, consolidating democratic institutions, and advancing regional and international integration. At the same time, the report offers an important strategic reflection. The next phase of Timor-Leste's development will depend not only the quality of our policies and plans, but increasingly on our collective capacity to implement effectively, coordinate efficiently, deliver measurable results, and translate national ambitions into tangible improvements in the lives of our people. As we approach the final phase of the Strategic Development Plan throughout the Medium-Term Plan 2027 to 2030, Timor-Leste is entering a critical period of transition from building foundations toward accelerating transformation. This transition requires stronger institutions, greater economic diversification, more effective public administration, enhanced private sector participation, sustained investment in human capital, and deeper integration into regional and global economies, particularly through ASEAN. In this regard, coordinated action and strategic partnerships remain essential. The challenges ahead are significant, but also are the opportunities before us to build a more resilient, inclusive, productive, and sustainable Timor-Leste for present and future generations. Public administration reform is essential to Timor-Leste's long-term development national transformation agenda. As the country advances toward deeper ASEAN integration, economic diversification and implementation of the Strategic Development Plan and Blue Economy Agenda, strong and effective institutions become increasingly critical. Reforming public administration is therefore not only about improving government efficiency, but also about strengthening state capacity, accountability, transparency, and service delivery for citizens. Modern, professional, and digitally enabled public institutions are necessary to ensure effective policy implementations, better coordination across sectors, sound public financial management, and greater responsiveness to the needs of the population. Public administration reform also plays a central role in building investors' confidence, supporting private sector development, enhancing human resources capacity, and aligning Timor-Leste's governance systems with regional and international standards, particularly within the context of ASEAN integration. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the plenary closing remarks. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the second part of the agenda, which is the Interministerial Coordination Commission, Dewan, Institutional and Economic Sectors. We will begin with the institutional development sector. However, since we have spared the question and answer sessions for the last two sessions, we will begin the first session with question and answers.
We are hungry now.
Our sincere apology, Your Excellency, since we have a little bit of delay in the lunch being provided, we will begin with the question and answers.
Yes. We understand because this is the way finance respond to us.
Once again, I'd like to invite Your Excellencies who might have questions for the last two sessions to please raise your question. And just a reminder, if you could please say your name and the institution you represent before you ask your question. Thank you very much. Yes, please.
Wilson, Australian Ambassador. Thank you also for Vice Minister for Regional Integration and ASEAN Affairs, and to the Civil Service Commissioner for your excellent presentations. We're very proud to be partnering with each of you on critical priorities in these portfolios. I think what you have laid out in each of the presentations is very comprehensive, and I wanted to personally thank you for the clarity of the presentation and both some context and the stepping stones, and then also really laying out your reform priorities, but also, as importantly, where would you like partners to be supporting you. So thank you. I wanted to just mainly commend you both on the excellent presentations. I have a short follow-up question for Vice Minister Rangel. Again, I think your presentation really makes it clear both what your areas of focus are, your reform priorities, and where we come in. I just had a side question which was additional to the priorities you have in there. I know tomorrow the focus will be on human capital development, and you did include in the presentation the socio-cultural pillar priorities. I just wondered, just so that we have interpreted it correctly, the economic and trade pillar is understandably very high in the agenda, but as a key partner to your government on human development, I'm just interested in any quick thoughts on how that might align with your ASEAN priorities as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. I think a representative of the civil society organizations have raised their hands before, so we would give the opportunity first to them, and then we proceed to the next question. Thank you.
Obrigado, Barak. Sua Excelência Primeiro-Ministro, Ministro Sirahotu, no Parseiru Dezenvolvimentu Sirahotu. Bakara kuliu itu andit kona ba adesão ba ASEAN, tamba alinhamento político no legal sirnebe agora deraku lao ia itinerai liu ia Parlamento Nacional ami nota kata falta ia transparência no mos participação elaboração preparativos ba lei Sirahotu ia nível governo falta Tldpm ia transparência exposto lei sira ia falta ia consultação ho sociedade civil ho acadêmico sira falta Tldpm ami lá muito participa bangira hari ia agenda parlamentar quando o governo apresenta ba ia parlamento ami buka tu oferece ami contribuição Roma no lei tolu ga hat nebe tama ia parlamento lei tolu nebe aprovationa lei pesticida, lei concorrência, nomos lei exportação, promoção, exportação sira nebe agora da promulgationa mi here katak ia conteúdo lei sira nebe aprovado, promulgado ia risco atu protege itania cooperativas nomos be agricultura que sira ia liu favor ba empresa boa sira ami husu atu exceção sira tuir mai bele ia liutan transparência no participação de prevenir riscos potenciais nebe bele afeta ba itenia realidade socioeconômico. Obrigado, Barak.
Thank you very much, and I now give the chance to the next question. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Banga Malewa from Embassy of Indonesia. Excellency Prime Minister, Vice Prime Minister, Ministers of 9th Cabinet, Diplomatic Corps and Development Partner, thank you for the time. Indonesia government strongly committed to continue our support to the government of Timor-Leste. And for this year, we have several programs related to food security, civil protection, and also final report management or reform. And we also provide scholarships, both fully funded from government and also provided by private sector and private university. Excellencies, my question is related to 2029, as we know that it will be a very important year for Timor-Leste, and also a bit critical because it will be near with the change of government, as we know that a general election will be done in 2028. My question is what's the strategy of the government to make sure that the change of the cabinet will guarantee that 2029 will be stable and going on based on what planning or what planned by the ongoing government at this time. And the second one is about reform for the staffs or officers. As we know that one of the problems faced by the country is about the sustainability of the permanent or the staffs in technical level. What's the strategy of the government to make sure that, for example, the training given by development partner is useful for long term? Because if we can make sure that the staffs in technical level, for example, that we train can be sustainable for long term, then it can give more or strong benefit to the policy of the country. Thank you.
Any more questions? Since I don't see any hands raised, I would like to now invite Her Excellency Minister and also relevant parties to respond to the questions. Thank you.
I will respond to the representative of Indonesian Embassy. Yes, your first question is how can I say, is important. Well, because we are democratic, in 2028, if we lose elections, we accept. But I believe that the new government will not do the job that it is required to the government of Timor-Leste, not to the government, to the ninth government. We showed already to you all the problem of implementation of our strategic development plan from 2011 to 2030. It showed that in the end we said what we need is vision. If we receive a responsibility to work in the government, without vision, we will come just to receive money and waiting for the new elections. This is the problem of character. And that was why the explanation from the President of Public Service Commission showed that to the civil servants we need also to build their character, to tell them that to work in the government is not to have salary, but to accomplish a mission of serving the country, serving the people. That was why when we made the reform, we started the reform in the public administration, it is just to take out the routine of familiarism, partidarism, and everything. We have to select the right people to work. There is an expression frequently used, the right person in the right place. Because if not, that is why we are looking to improve the capability of the society to start thinking that they can participate in the development of the country, in the business, in other activities, not waiting for being a civil servant, because the state must take out from its mind that job creation is to call people to come and receive money. Job creation needs participation from the private sector. But because we know the conditions of the private sector, that was why I said we are trying to help them to improve their capability, because there are many, many people willing to do something. What we used to say is, don't ask the state what the state can do for you, but ask to yourself, what can you do for this country and the people? That's why in this problem, the reform of the public service is to change the character, because there we can see transparency, because many times I told before that we celebrated 24 years now, mostly to reflect what we have done, mistakes that we have contributed to, the right things, to correct, to readjust, and to do better. That is why I cannot say that the new government that will come from the elections into 2028 will just say that, no, we are not going to
Chair the chairmanship. We're not going to chair the chairmanship. We are not going to say that we not chair.
No, we are not going to take the chairmanship of ASEAN, because ASEAN is 9th government's policy. Cannot. This is a state commitment. This is a state decision. And to respond to the civil society question, I don't know. I can agree that we didn't do everything for the civil society to understand better our accession to ASEAN. But I believe also that the civil society today is not the civil society of 20 years ago. Because today, with all the connections that we can have, I believe that the civil society can follow all the problems. ASEAN presented, the Vice Minister of ASEAN presented, and she will answer to your question. But I believe that there is a big problem even to the government. We discuss all the documents that are presented to us. We cannot understand everything. We cannot say that we don't agree with this or we agree with that. We just understanding that being part of ASEAN is not just to receive benefits, but to contribute. Being part of ASEAN is not a promise of everything good. We have to work hard, especially in developing the people's minds, in developing the conditions of our country to benefit the rural areas, to benefit the people that are still living in very bad conditions. But to respond to you, representative from the civil society, I will let the Vice Minister for ASEAN to answer.
Obrigada, Excelência. Vou diretamente a responder a pergunta. Permite-me responder ao texto, Excelência. Processo de implementação do roteiro leva mais ou menos 2 anos e tal. E o processo de roteiro, lógico, a sua explicação, para que temos uma colher com instrumentos legais, será? E instrumentos legais, será, né? Liu esse processo naru, que temos, para não é só o governo dele, mas que tu compreende, mas itahalo sessões, lubuquida, envolve setor privado, será? Envolve a sociedade civil, academia, para entender o loja e tem compromisso, ba itania adesão ba rola parte e acordo serne nebe além de né sessões que no halo né sempre nos convida sociedade civil ba do participa e a fulan agosto se habele até de fila falta né fulan tinan kotuk antes de adesão e a sessões lubuquida que envolve o todo para entender pela tem los e tá comprometido ba saída ita tu concorda ba itania ita colocar de market access oferta ba mercados ba itania compromisso ba bens investimento nomos ba e serviços também mos ba loque ita no mercado ba região ita envolve parte do todo no becker e a relevância para rola parte entende a loja ida ma Timor-Leste nesse governo a tu compromete ba e o processo de integração regional e Anesso in Excelência Primeiro-Ministro até Teona, e lá hoje está tu foto de benefício dele, e estamos a sacar sai contributor para a região, né? Então, e acordo de barulho, né? Acordo standard, acordo nebe que aplica também país membro sira, nebe nia standard ni na baona, nia benchmark ni na baona, e tá sobele det halo negociação balo, mas be lá complementa ba demasiado ba tania setor privado nacional e tá segura na fatem que tem interesse nacional em cima de tudo, assegura que tem interesse nacional em cima de tudo. Tamba sera mahansane, tamba país membro ASEAN lubu kiramos nia processo de desenvolvimento lá nessa e tratamento basira para tu cumprir outro obrigações cernemos e tempo e tuan, nebe e lá hoje ita kuliah maluret mas be estipula que ia na ASEAN Charter kata ia mecanismo balo existe para depois ia tratamento preferencial ruma ba país membro serbe que tama icus atu depois atu loke mercado ita ia parte balo ita tem que dia o laos na minha cartaca laos tama cartaca red lai política balo se do que fatem sistema balo se do que fatem também foi tempo e tuan ami para depois elo ruma ami tu liberaliza completamente ami ia no momento certo ir para ia na condições nebe que beleona atu liberaliza o mercado Timor-Leste né nebe ia processo consulta e valida filfali ba hamuto com envolvimento parceiro sutoto para depois for contribuição nebe processo holístico nebe que hototo participa e nebe tá sempre halo consulta ho parte hototo stakeholder hototo ministério todo envolve setor privado envolve sociedade civil envolve universitário somos envolve nebe agar receptebes quando ia filfali anso ia me explica kata que ia tá acordos do buqueira tu irmai ita precisa mostrar a parte ba continua convida na fase setor privado ser pelo mai por receber fomos opiniões o ensama tabele responde bem necessidades mas mais uma vez até kata ita mostra cara sai contributor mos ba região né laos atu cima de benefício obrigada para a excelência
atu sai contributor com problema do setor privado e darei a lei de construção, a lei de batirne. Também que o governo mas decide a tu colher na fata no setor privado ou no sama coloque batir de temi micro, small and medium enterprise ou de nema que te bele duduba oin. Também ideia mercado loque dia do hatamare de mercado livre mas itinian lava idane los dudi idane ela plano a hura da quando hosto privado conferencida maybe se dá o coto se continua na fati oi moço temiona a tu cria banquida huri for apoio dau também itini problema makin duni ando itala halo la impulsiona o setor privado e aqui que o ancerne e tinha maca SDSP date jogo online date também facilita simo Asambara lá da Roma musutan crime transnacional para outro nebe problema lá fácil nebe os votos para o setor privado não mais para a sociedade civil a tu continua a mim nunca rejeita críticas a mim precisa críticas por se setor privado racic por se sociedade civil racic também ou críticas mas cambela tene ou na sala e na basala também sem crítica de não engata que halo boto totona irene ita lao ladun los duni obrigado Marek.
Thank you very much for the questions and answers, and now we are open to the second round of questions. Yes, please.
Thank you for the opportunity. First Excellency Prime Minister, a member of government, diplomatic corps, partner development, and we are here. Good afternoon, Botardi. So I'm here, I think, talking with related to the Timor-Leste situation now, related to the presentation, the morning presentation related to the SDP implementation. I think Timor-Leste, we have some progress in terms of the implementation and development in Timor-Leste. So, and also something that we need to continue, we need to collaborate and working together in terms of the development process. I think related to my presentation here, my name is Cesario da Silva from Timor-Leste Disability Association. I was talking about the disability rights in terms of the Timor-Leste development. So I think related to Timor-Leste accession to the ASEAN, we are happy to Timor-Leste be part of ASEAN. Before we be part of ASEAN, full member of ASEAN, ASEAN requirement is one requirement of all social culture. It's related to the, is that the requirement, one requirement is Timor-Leste already ratify UN CRPD or not? So this process, I think, Excellency Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, we're doing the presentation related to the UN CRPD, and after that, Timor-Leste take initiative and ratify UN CRPD, and then Timor-Leste be a full member of ASEAN. I think this is the congratulations to the government. And also related to the development process, what our observation in terms of development process, people thinking about the disability always coming with the charity approach to the people with disability. Sometimes always thinking about the needs, some situation, emergency situation, they need to priority the right people with disability in terms of charity. But what we want to recommend is we need to use in the human rights approach. Not only the charity, we need opportunity to be part, to be part. I think in terms of Timor-Leste development, we already contribute something, the small thing to the development of Timor-Leste, like literacy. We support throughout our way to support the people with disability, how to be part of the literacy, can read and count. The morning we hear about the literacy presentation. The people with disability, they face many barriers in terms of like infrastructure. I think ASEAN, they require the accessibility infrastructure. So that is, I think, we recommend to government the infrastructure we need to accessible, to access to all people, include people with disability. All public infrastructure that we have and have an accessibility in place. So we need the accessibility in place. I think related to the public servant, as we talk about opportunity, the participation of people with disability in the public servant, we see the lack of participation. So many challenges that people with disability still face. Sometimes people say that you are disabled, why you can come here for what? This is some situation that we have. So we recommend the public servant, if you have any recruitment for the public recruitment, people with disability, we need a code for recruitment. Code for recruitment. I think to guarantee that people with disability can access, because they have an opportunity to participate in the process. I think related to Timor-Leste process, I think Prime Minister here, they participate a lot of activity that the people with disability doing, and they are Prime Minister also aware about needs of people with disability. That's we need to support in terms of opportunity and accommodation, reasonable accommodation, how people with disability can participate in the process of the development process in Timor-Leste. I thank you so much.
Thank you. I agree with you. And I hope that the development partners can help us assisting them. Because I had some contacts with them. What the conclusion that I got was they are physically disabled. We, members of government, members of parliament, members of justice, members of, we are more disabled. We are disabled in mind. We are disabled in heart. We don't love this country, we don't love these people. That is why, bad. I have to tell you a story that I was so impressed. I was talking with some disabled people, disabled meaning they cannot talk. I was alone and I said how to communicate with them. And I talked with them. I was so impressed. I said, sorry, I don't know if you understand what I said. A girl took a paper and wrote the answer. I said, what? That is why physically, not mentally disabled. Mentally disabled, all these well-dressed people that are working, including me, that are working in the government. We are the really disabled in mind. And please, partners, if you can have something, they don't ask money. They ask how they can organize and they can, like the gentleman said, they can improve their capability to go to the civil servants, to some other places, but they are fantastic. The story that I told you impressed me so much. She wrote the answer to me. I said, what? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the answer. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the answer of His Excellency Prime Minister concludes our session for this morning. We will now have a 90-minute break for lunch.
Finally.
And once again, just a reminder, for lunch, the VVIP and VIP will need to walk over to the cafeteria located at the eastern wing of this building. And for non-VIP, you'll need to go to the left side of this meeting room. The VVIPs are His Excellency Prime Minister, Vice Prime Ministers, members of the government, ambassadors, and chargés d'affaires. The VIPs include heads of donor organizations, UN agencies, rectors of university, presidents of institutions, and heads of public companies and institutes.
Telespectadores Radio Televisão Timor-Leste, nema ka nino rohan Asaun primeiro nian, ia parte da dernian, ia neve reunião anual Parseiru Dezenvolvimentu nian be kalau ia salão itaraklaran, Ministério Finanças itaraklaran dili. Ita hoto da acompanha kata que a temática lubukira maka halaona ia parte da der e se falta tan temática rua, ka apresentação rua, neve que se apresenta o presidente ministro, presidente do Conselho Ministro e parte do Lord Craig, nosso vice-primeiro-ministro Francisco Calbuari liga com o desenvolvimento do setor institucional, no nosso desenvolvimento do setor economia e a sessão Lord Craig. Também há muito na fatinho e a canal na frequência rádio na televisão Timor-Leste nian, por acompanha transmissão direta e a parte Lord Craig. Lord Diak.
You to please enjoy your lunch. Once again, it is 90 minutes. Therefore, I would like to invite everyone to return to this conference room at 2:30 sharp. Excelências, distintos convidados.